Hey guys, so I'm going to be continuing this Proverbs series, and this chapter is chapter 20. I have 3 verses that I'm going to read to you and then talk about them, and that'll be it. So the first one is Proverbs 20, verse 4. It says, "Sluggards do not plow in season, so at harvest time they look but find nothing." So I was really thinking about what this meant. And this is a warning that we hear all the time. It's like a teacher saying, if you don't study, then you're going to fail the test. Or a coach saying, if you don't practice, then you're not going to be good. Or if you don't save your money, then you're not going to have money later when you need it. God wants us to anticipate the future. God does provide for us. God does want to help us out in those ways, but we can't expect Him to come to our rescue whenever we don't put any effort on our own. God wants to come to our rescue. God wants to help us, but He also wants us to take responsibility for our future. He wants us to be responsible people who will save that money, who will go practice, who will use what God gave them in order to be successful, and then He will help us out through that. The next verse is verse 24. It says, "A person's steps are directed by the Lord. How then can anyone understand their own way?" So many things in this life we don't understand, we may never understand, but other things we may understand in the future and in times to come, and some things we may understand, but it's saying that our steps are directed by the Lord. So in anything that we do, we don't have to understand it. So many times we think if we don't understand something, then maybe it's not going right. I don't know, but it's saying that we don't need to understand what's going on in our lives. We don't have to know that. We shouldn't not follow God because we don't understand His plan. It's saying that God is in control of our steps. We don't think like God. God thinks so much higher than us that we should just trust Him no matter what. We should follow God because God promises direction in our life. He promises us that He will lead us. We just have to be willing to listen and go, no matter if we get why we're going there or not. But talking about promises and God promising to direct our life, in verse 25 it says, "It is a trap to dedicate something rationally, only later to consider one's vows." So that's talking about promises. That's saying that this Proverbs points out the evil of making a vow or a promise and then not following through with it. God takes promises very seriously. When He promises something, it's going to happen. So when we think of a vow, often we think of a wedding or a vow there. That vow is to be meant seriously and to be taken seriously and not to be broken. A lot of the times we have good intentions when we make a vow or we make a promise or we say something to somebody, but we don't always follow through with it. And this is just a warning against that. Don't promise something or say something or vow to something, especially to God, that we're not going to do. I know a lot of the times we'll stand and we'll pray to God and we're like, "Oh, I promise I'm not going to do this again." That promise is taken seriously. Don't make a promise that you can't keep. Don't say something that you're not going to follow through with. Live the way that you speak. Don't let that contradict each other, because that's taken seriously to God, and that is a sin. So just be careful what you say, live what you say, let God control your steps, and that's all I have to say. So I hope you all enjoyed, and be ready for chapter 21 tomorrow.